speaking of challenges, the second one, Grok 4 came out. This one is, so there is, I forget who it was now. I should have written it down, but someone who I respect, an industry stalwart sort of person, looked at this and did some tests and basically said, okay, we can call this done. Grok 4 has achieved AGI. I'm like, okay, I don't buy it, but holy crap, that is high praise. And yet 3 days earlier, X.ai was in the news because Grok 3 was out there giving all kinds of hogwash in its responses.
It called itself MechaHitler, quite literally, on Twitter.
That's
not a good thing to call yourself.
So the question is, how do you put these two things together? Literally happening in the same flipping week, and we didn't cover it, but there's also the I forgot her name right now, but the CEO of Twitter, X, she announced her resignation. So it's like, the drama at Elon Musk's companies just continues to boil over.
Yeah, I find Grok to be fascinating because on the one hand, there is this massive power center in Memphis that is well documented. They have a massive, storage, massive compute, and a ton of smart people that are working on Grok. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure their AI models are basically on par with everybody else's models from a pure research perspective and from a power perspective. But you have this weird wild card that for some reason they want, I'll say Elon Musk, but vaguely whoever's in charge of XAI wants it to be more edgy and to have more of a personality. And those things are honestly, from a pure functional perspective, getting in the way of Grok being a real player in the AI world. Because frankly, no matter what kind of edginess aside, corporate companies do not want edginess in their AI. They don't want weird wildcards that are put in by the top investor or top funder. They just want a neutral model that they can work with at the end of the day. They want it to be smarter and smarter and smarter, of course, but they don't want edge.
It is interesting to step off of our weird news cycle for 2 seconds. It does lead me to wonder, right? I mean, if you look at, you have Grok by Elon Musk, you have, of course, Meta with Zuckerberg, and then you have OpenAI itself with Sam Altman. And they're all very distinct personalities. And it does sort of lead me to wonder if we're not going to see the Microsofts and AWSs of the world that are much more stable and corporate ultimately rise through this, just because, sort of like my dad used to talk about, he used to say, had this phrase, don't worry about the competition, they'll take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And I sort of almost see this happening, right? It's like, you guys have amazing technology. They're pushing the boundaries, the traditional sort of startup thing, but just on steroids because we're talking so much money and so much impact. But eventually they end up undermining their own potential because they end up doing these weird things and just making these weird bets. It's
right now we're in that stage in the poker game when there's like 10 people in the poker game, and the first couple people go out just because they do something stupid. The real players who are going to be there at the last 2 or 3 players at the table, they're just sitting and watching right now because they're just waiting for the first couple people to make huge mistakes that wipe out their billions of dollars in investment. And there will be
the only tricky part with this is Altman, of course, has hundreds of billions in funding, right? And then
he's got a lot of chips. Yeah.
And then Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, Zuckerberg not far behind. I mean, so that's what's going to make this really fascinating. These aren't just quote unquote startup sort of modes. So